This week on Arizona Illustrated, Adiba Nelson in her own voice.
I'm not gonna hide because society says I should. How do you not hide? You put yourself all out there.
The Sacred Harp, hearing voices.
It's not about individual virtuosity. It's about everyone blending their voices and singing together.
Geneva and Hershey, racing barrels.
Anything I do, he pretty much, makes me look good.
And the Hip Hop Festival in Tucson.
So once you get involved, you just discover so much talent.
Welcome to Arizona Illustrated. I'm Tom McNamara. We've heard it before from philosophers, theologians, teachers, and gurus that life is a journey, an experience full of ups and downs, triumph and defeat, a sometimes unpredictable series of events to be encountered, embraced, and cherished. For Adiba Nelson, it has certainly been all of that and more. For her, life is an ongoing creation, and as she says, it is what you make it.
Jesus H. I didn't even put waterproof mascara on. Okay. So my hope for my daughter, Emery, as a girl of color who will one day be a woman of color, I hope that you let nothing stand in your way. We have gone through this life, pushing through every barrier, finding new ways to do the things that people said you couldn't do. And I hope that you continue to use that sometimes drive me crazy determination and stubbornness that you have to reach every goal that you set for yourself. I feel like mini Colin Kaepernick, my giant fro. We live in a society who tells you that if your body is in any way, shape, or form different, then it's not okay.
Good, how are you?
And that bothers me as a woman, as a mom. You're about to see some really interesting faces.
My hair has been a journey since I was a kid. It's like the front is the most fine. I've always hated my hair, and I'm finally to a point where I love my hair. Having my afro, it's big and it's bold. This morning, Emery kept putting her hands in it, just squeezing. I was like, yes, honey, it's my hair. She's just like, oh. Getting a weave, not only is it easier to deal with because I'm so busy, but I can change it.
I want the world to know that it's okay to look like me. You're still beautiful. I'm not gonna hide because society says I should. How do you not hide? You put yourself all out there. Sometimes I'll get that, are you the girl that wrote, are you the woman, the mom that wrote that? But more often than not, I'll get, you look really familiar. And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, do you perform? Yeah, that's me. When it's a show night, it's a little bit chaotic. People asking people to put on their eyelashes or squeezing for space. When you're stripping your clothes off, you're pretty vulnerable. Those shoes, oh my God, the whole outfit is ridiculous. There's all your glory. And so it was kind of that, like, I have to walk the walk if I'm gonna talk the talk.
You always get the most bang for your buck with our next performer.
I do it for girls that look like me, brown girls, heavyset girls. I mean, girls who don't have the stereotypical aesthetic look that the media and society says you should have to be beautiful. To tell them you can own that, it's okay to own that. But at its base, I started doing burlesque for my daughter. I want her to know that just because your body is different doesn't mean you can't be empowered.
He said when he was resuscitated
flight with us. So, when you're in the hospital.
Good morning. What? Let's get up. Well, you have to eat breakfast. That's the drill. I knew when Emery was 2 months old that something wasn't right. Hold on. I kind of had this inkling that she had possibly cerebral palsy. Roll yourself out into the kitchen. And it was kind of one of those things. Crashing into my walls, please. But I didn't sign up for this part of it. Like, what? Okay. Thank you. But then there was also this rebellious part of me that was like, well, F that, nothing's gonna slow us down, so let's just get on that train and keep going. Miss Emery, it's time to pick out your clothes. Go to your room, please. Turn on your light. Yes, no?
No.
This one?
Yeah.
All right. The ways that I've grown just being her mom and going on this journey with her. Okay. Over the head, and then put your arms through. I think that was kind of that test of arms. Are you gonna do what you need to do for this child? But, thank you. And we've been through a lot together. You're in, that's on, let's go.
Oftentimes, I had to choose between gas to get us to and from therapy or diapers for my child. I was failing her, and I knew it. One time, the despair got so bad that I actually dialed the number to Tucson's emergency children's shelter, Casa de los Niños, in the hopes that they could come and take her and adopt her out to a family that could afford to give her everything that she needed.
You're gonna go fast. Whee! Go down the hall. Can you go down the hall, please? I had never really talked about the whole thing with Emery and almost giving her up. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. But putting it out there and the message that came with it of, never stopping. You take whatever challenge, you skate downhill and whatever happens, happens. And if you fall, you get back up. I never told that story before. Can you get them, please? Can you get them, please? Go. And I didn't realize how truly personal it was until I got off stage. Thank you.
Ow!
That did not hurt. It gave more clarity to my purpose for being here. And I've stepped into that part of it now. Good morning, you guys. How's it going? I actually am originally from New York City. Didn't come from a rich family, a middle-class family, poor family. We were like below poor. We didn't always have electricity. We didn't always have gas. We didn't always have milk for cereals. Statistically, if you watch the news, I should probably be either in jail or homeless, or my kids should be in foster care, or something of that nature. When I decided that I wasn't going to let those things define who I am and define my future, that's when things kind of started to move in the upward direction. I'm a children's book author. I have a book called Meet Clarabelle Blue. It's loosely based on my daughter, talking about how this little girl is just like everybody else and she can do all the same things and she'll probably beat you at your favorite games. People said, society isn't ready for a book about a girl with special needs. And I could have stopped there. I could have said, okay, well, you've given me the boundaries and I'll take that. But you have to be willing to push past, whether your own personal boundaries or boundaries that someone else puts on you. Yes?
Did you regret having her?
No, she is the best thing that has ever happened.
It really made me happy.
It makes you happy?
I met you.
You're gonna make me cry, Ruby.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you so much. That just made my entire day.
You're an amazing girl. And I hope my daughter can grow up and be as awesome as you are in a drop-dead gorgeous prom dress.
Okay.
All right. Does anyone else have any questions?
It just got to the point where I knew that I couldn't be the only person who had lived through certain things or had thoughts about certain things. Just being her mom and watching how she moves through life without judgment, without fear, without expecting the worst. She's just open.
Thank for that boy.
I needed to learn that. I still need to learn that.
Crazy.
Who's crazy? You're so bright and so shiny and magical. You really are magical. This world is so ready for someone like you, for a spirit like yours and a soul like yours.
It is one of America's oldest and least known musical genres, often called shape note singing. It began in 19th century New England and found its way to the American South. Singing for the joy of singing. It's a vocal genre with deep roots in community traditions and religious expression, relying exclusively on the Sacred Harp.
The old timers would say something like, I wouldn't walk around the block to listen to Sacred Harp music, but I'd drive 100 miles to sing it.
Fa would probably do it. Fa, la, sol, fa. It's based on the Sacred Harp, which is the name of the volume of music. The reference is to the human voice being the Sacred Harp. We have a scale that people will recognize as do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And for simplicity's sake, they chopped out 3 of them, and they kept fa, sol, la, and mi.
The difference is just that the note heads, instead of being circles for every single note, there's 4 shapes. There's a triangle, and a square, and a circle, and a diamond. So each of those shapes corresponds to a certain piece of the scale.
It was definitely difficult at first because I did know how to read music, read regular music.
I think the trickiest is realizing when you've got step motion and when you've got triads or arpeggios with spaces in between.
Yes. I wasn't actually using the shapes as they're intended because the whole point of the shapes is when you know in your head what a fa to a fa, what that interval sounds like, when you see that, you just do that. Fa, so, fa, mi, so, it's taken me 14 years to get to the point where I am using the shapes as they were intended to be used, as opposed to just saying what is printed on the page.
As I understand it, this particular 4-shape system evolved sometime around 1800 and in this country.
Methodist missionaries from Massachusetts, I believe, is the actual core of where it started. Thy church is prayed. It's non-denominational in character. It's a tradition that started as a new way to get people who had little opportunity for formal education to come up to speed and sing in a group and have it sound not half bad.
Another one of those ones that I think got added after the fact. Yeah.
So we're singing the Psalms, but not the way they are in the King James Bible, which is what he started from, and not the way they are in the original Bible text, because they were in a different language, but in this metrical English.
The earth and seas are passed away. The earth and seas are passed away.
The people who come to sing are singing for themselves within the group. It's about the people that get together to sing and what happens within the hollow square of singing.
Adorned with shining grace, adorned with shining grace.
Boy, the basses have a lot of power.
There's a feeling of camaraderie. There's all different sorts of people that do Sacred Harp, but we all have that one thing in common, that we really like this music and we like to sing it together.
Oh, my son. Oh, my son.
I think we're hardwired for two things. We're hardwired for rhythm, so that timing thing, the sound of drums. We like to tap our feet, all kinds of rhythmic sounds. And the second is we're wired to recognize relationships between sounds. That gives us great pleasure. There are a few people in the world who can sing two notes at one time. Everybody else can only sing one note at one time. So if you want harmony, you got to have the other people to sing. Here you are working to all get to a place where you're not doing exactly the same thing, but you're doing things that work with each other.
When we arrive at home.
For me, it's definitely about doing something with other people, working with people to make something greater than us, make something beautiful.
We'd rather sigh and groan than live.
La Fiesta de los Vaqueros turns 93 this month. A 9-day celebration runs through Sunday, February 25th, and welcomes real-life cowboys and cowgirls from the United States and Canada to compete for $500,000 in prize money. Now, barrel racing is a fan favorite. It requires a special relationship between rider and horse. In 2016, we caught up with a member of the University of Arizona rodeo team to get her thoughts on what it takes to run the barrels.
We're at the Marana Heritage Arena in Marana, Arizona at a Grand Canyon rodeo. It's the amateur rodeo circuit around Arizona, New Mexico, a little bit on the edge of California. Sometimes we go to Colorado for rodeos. My name is Geneva Kelly and I'm a barrel racer.
My great-grandma was a Blackfoot Indian and her name was Geneva, so my parents thought it seemed fitting, so they named me. I'm from Sonoyta, Arizona, so that's, I think, the prettiest part of Arizona. I like it. You don't have to worry about hurricanes, earthquakes, snakes, yeah, you have to worry about a lot of snakes, but they rattle, so you're good.
Here in the beautiful Marana country. This is not the coldest DCR membership ride.
My horse's name is Hershey. He turned 15 come January. He's just a big old bay, nothing too special. I bought him out of Texas a couple years ago, and I just love the heck out of him. This gets better with age. Some of them, you know, they are good, but then you take them to a rodeo and they're a little nutty in the head and they don't quite handle the surroundings that well. Or you get a good one and you can't keep them sound. Here comes the fire-breathing dragon. To have a horse like Hershey that's older and so solid and so sound is just a blessing. And I'm very, very grateful to have a horse like him. Went out to the arena and I was a little bit hesitant because it was really deep, but my horse, he tends to work good in the rain and everything. I learned that you can't expect to get your mind right the day of your performance. You have to get your mind right the days leading up to your performance. I'll wake up in the morning and I'll say a prayer and I'll go through my run before I even get out of bed. And then I'll get here and kind of have like tidbits of thoughts about, you know, like instead of pulling back when you go into your first barrel, lift your hand and really drive him in there, you know.
Once again, a big thank you to the St. Luke's Medicine team. St. Luke's Medical Center team being here. Grand Canyon Boulevard and Breakaway opened 2 years ago. Junior and high school, come on, Canyon. Here's the GCPRA with a champion.
the #1 thing I could tell a barrel racer is don't overthink it. Don't get inside your head too much. I've learned to not do that. Let yourself just have some fun, and then whenever it comes game time, you should be able to just go in there and do your thing. There's about 70 riders today, give or take.
How about an 18.15 right there?
Before I run him, I kiss to him and smooch to him an awful lot because he's kind of so laid back that I want him to be really ready to roll.
You're in the hole. This is Geneva Kelly.
He knows. When it's game time, he knows. Even when the announcer goes, it's hard to keep him under control because he'll be as mellow as can be, and then once they crack the microphone, he is on one. Hey, hey, hey. I go into my first barrel just looking for a little bit of rate, and if he rates good to my first barrel, that tells me that I can ride hard. A rate means whenever my horse is going into his barrels, he collects his body underneath of himself, but is still moving. You'll say, my horse fired good today, which means he really ran, and like you can feel when your horse just really smokes a barrel, and you know if it's gonna be fast. I can probably tell you if I'm gonna place before I even cross the line. He was a little hot, so I just warmed him up a little bit, took him in there, and he ran good, fired, rated, did all the barrel racer lingo. I think I was 4th or 5th. It's time to go get dinner. I won $260. Usually they just pay you back with what you enter with. So I got my entries back, which is nice. Our goal was that we set for ourselves was to make it to the college finals, and I did. And just because of that, he's pretty important to me. I placed at every college rodeo. And they say if you're ever gonna have a streak, it needs to be in those March, April months during the college rodeos, and I sure did. My mom always jokes to me that I'm kind of out of control and like a little skittish and everything, and anything I do, he pretty much, you know, makes me look good. Nitro, come here. Come here, buddy. I would say there's a hard part, but I feel like that'd be a little selfish because you get to do this all the time. It's a great community, the rodeo community. People here are, I think, some of the best people. They're very down to earth, they work hard, and they're just honest people. And any one of my friends I could call on any given day and they're gonna be cool, so. I'm not gonna lie to you and say that the rodeo community doesn't like to have a lot of fun because they get a little wild, but it's great, I love it. They have a lot of funny stories to tell, especially the boys. Kind of like my little family, you know, like I load up my horses and I load up my dog and we all go together, and I'm never lonely because he's always with me, and then my horses, it's always something to do every day to look forward to, and without them, I'd probably be pretty sorry. At the end of the day, if you can kind of look yourself in the mirror and say, you know, 80% of the day I was happy, I think you're living a pretty good life. I love the life I'm living.
Geneva recently moved to a small town outside of Mineral Wells, Texas, to be near her mom and her older sister, Elena. She is still racing barrels, but now she's riding a big gelding named Flint. She sold Hershey to an up-and-coming high school barrel racer out of East Texas, continuing the legacy of rider and horse. The second annual Tucson Hip Hop Festival starts Saturday, February 24th, and boasts a diverse and powerful lineup of mostly local rappers and performers with some notable artists from out of town. Jocelyn Valencia and local DJ Pike Romero are co-directors of the festival. We caught up with Valencia recently to hear more about the hip-hop scene in Tucson.
We ain't out here ain't play with old Adiba, man. We're highly border influenced here in Tucson, and I think you see that in everything, in the murals, and the food, in artists, and the way that Tucson artists carry themselves. I think us being in the Southwest and being so close to the Mexican border, that's our taste, that's our sound. It's the most unique city in regards to arts and culture that I've ever visited or been a part of. And I think it has a lot to do with just the community support within Tucson. As a festival, us putting together all the elements of hip hop, being able to have and represent DJing, breakdancing, rapping, live graffiti, panels, just being able to include all of that, I don't think a lot of people know that that all exists here in Tucson. We got really fortunate because of our main supporter since the beginning, which is the U of A, specifically the College of Humanities, and that partnership really developed through me being in their hip hop program. We've been able to kind of do this trade where an institution gets more connected to the community and vice versa. So once you get involved, you just discover so much talent. Still discovering new people, new scenes, new pockets. One thing that we really wanted to focus on this year also is the representation of Southside rappers, because that's booming right now. One thing that I absolutely love about the hip hop community here in Tucson is that artists within the same genre, within the same community, are supporting one another. Whether that's working together, promoting each other, or sharing resources, that's really huge.
The 4 pillars of hip-hop will all be on full display. To find out more about the festival, the artist, and the team behind the scenes, visit TucsonHipHopFestival.com. Thank you for joining us here on Arizona Illustrated. Next week, the Buffalo Soldiers fighting for freedom. Geronda Montano, mother, survivor, lifesaver. I'm Tom McNamara. See you then.